Hi, my name's Phil. I like talking about politics, and in this video, I'd like to pick up on the Brexit regrets that some business-owning supporters have been expressing, as well as the source of regret that is coming to more of them in a few days. But first, if you'd like to be notified of daily news and politics, please subscribe to the channel and click the bell notification icon. So, there's a recent article in the Express and Star. It's a Midlands-based media outlet reporting on a Brexit voting businesswoman who now regrets her choice. Now, when we come across examples of this type of behaviour, there can be a couple of responses. The first is to say, good, serves you right that you are suffering from your own carelessness. However, I try and take a more pragmatic view, which is first of all, when a business suffers, it's not just the business owner that suffers. There will be people who derive their income from that business, whether directly or indirectly, who will suffer as well. Some of them will have voted Remain. They don't deserve it. You know, we suffer along with those who voted Leave. When people come up with the tired old line, you lost, get over it, when I can be bothered to respond at all I can really say is, we all lost. Strange, isn't it? Brexit, which was originally supposed to be this great national unifying project, ended up as one group of people in the country delighting in the misery that it has caused another group of their fellow citizens. And whatever nobler intentions may once have existed has now boiled down to spiteful hatred for their fellow man. But the bottom line is the most important thing right now is correcting the problem with as much haste as possible, which is not, it has to be said, much haste. It will take a long time, even in the best case scenario, a decade at least. And that's if everyone is minded to rejoin and starts working together. I'm not seeing a lot of evidence that this is happening. So the reality is it will take significantly longer. But every person who puts their hand up and says, got that wrong, is valuable. You know, I told you so is fun. I like it. I told you so. Even cathartic. But letting people feel comfortable admitting the mistake in public is more useful because it encourages more to do the same. You know, that in turn will encourage more people to see the tide turning. The issue at the moment is there are Remainers and Leavers. I mean, the words don't really mean anything now, but they're often still used. Because what do you say now? You can have rejoiners, but what can you have for the people who are still glad about it? And I know there are words you can use, but that's impolite. But what you want is a load of people that says, well, I voted Leave. I wouldn't now. And we want as many of them as... They're more valuable than us. Because, I don't know... It's like if you voted Remain and you said you'd voted Remain and you've always said you voted Remain, it's almost like your opinion's worth nothing. No one wants to hear you. So the people whose opinion is worth it to anyone are the people who said, I did vote Leave, I believed in it, and now I don't. You know, and that'll make the tide turn quicker. But all that being said, this woman was an arse. Because why did she vote Brexit? Was it because she believed the nonsense about having the same ease of trade with the EU, but expanded ease of trade elsewhere via those, you know, awesome new trade deals? Not that this article suggests. Instead, she cites her main reasons being that she didn't like her employees having workers' rights. She said she was sick of employment and health and safety rules coming from Brussels. I mean, the health and safety rules have been around in the UK for a while. But anyway, in a sense, that makes her one of the few Brexit voters that voted for something Brexit would actually deliver. Because workers' rights are absolutely on the altar and will almost be completely dissolved over time, or that's the intention. I'm not so sure about health and safety, being honest, but no legal protection for ordinary workers is safe with this Brexit government. However, although she could see Brexit as a route to being able to endanger her employees to save a few quid, presumably, I'm assuming she wasn't doing it maliciously, and treat them like human refuse, she failed to see what was attached to it, namely sky-high trade barriers. She said that years of building relationships, trust with our customers squashed in the blink of an eye. She also said she was wondering whether she had been weirdly transported to another planet where exporting her goods to Europe had been banned. Now, I've said before that there will be exporters who have spent their entire careers in the EU trading with other EU countries or just in the single market in general and won't have the foggiest how international trade even works. If they never exported outside the single market, they wouldn't have needed to. It was all done for them. But this lady also said that she has. So she's not clueless about how exporting to third countries works. She just didn't anticipate the sheer level of trade barriers on her doorstep. She cited the main problem being paperwork. What was that? Is that the paperwork that the Tory Brexiteers said would disappear with Brexit? Hilarious. Filling out the forms correctly, getting the VAT sorted. A serious problem, she says. She now regrets voting for Brexit at all and is upset that Brexit supporting MPs seem to be very quiet on these issues. Seems worker rights weren't that big a problem after all compared to the alternative. And then you inevitably have to think about what's coming. See, this is a business who has already been shafted by the 2021 Brexit, which is not the full Brexit yet. That's just like stage one. She said 90% of her business was exporting to Europe. And there are other businesses who have found the same problems. Several others are referred to in the article as well, but there's more coming, of course. You keep seeing reports of full customs controls coming in action in the new year. This is how the government characterise it. I'm not an expert. I'm not sure it can be claimed as full customs controls when there's still going to be a light touch on physical checks. I know the SPS checks are the main ones. There'll be standards checks that's still to come in. But even the physical checks, we're not going to be able to carry out all the ones we should for customs purposes. But anyway, never mind that. In theory, all the paperwork is supposed to be there. You know, the paperwork's definitely going to be needed to be done properly. And never mind what businesses think they've had to deal with this year, both exporters and importers are going to have to come to terms with rules of origin red tape in a major way. There were a lot of fiddles in place this year to let businesses off. You know, the rules were technically the same, but what you had to do was not. You know, and that's all gone at the end of this week. Now, I don't know what the impact of this will be, how it will be felt in a significant way. January tends to see a drop-off in trade anyway, so the strain will not be as serious as after a few months. But when you consider that various bodies representing businesses in Britain have shown that their members largely don't even know what the new rules are and certainly aren't prepared for them, it's likely there are going to be lorries stuck at the border, trying to sort out the new processes that may not even know about. And border staff themselves could be caught out. I don't know how much training they will have had to deal with the new checks required of them. There will be so many opportunities for delays that some were surprised that the government were even going ahead with it. That wouldn't help our exporters because the EU are ready for the extra paperwork, or at least their border staff, not necessarily businesses. But we are so dependent upon food imports from the EU that it seems a special sort of madness to gum up the works with new systems that we aren't ready for. If the shelves are depleted again, I'm sure the press will point out how fat we all are and we should use it as an opportunity to kickstart the New Year diet. Missing the point that there will be no serious shortage of crisps and biscuits, it's the fresh, healthy food that we will be short of. And if you muck up the forms, then tariffs will apply. Then you have two choices. The businesses already on their knees can absorb the costs, except, of course, many of them can't afford to. So then you'll be passing it directly on to the customers. That's you and I. The price of food massively increases yet again. And, forgot to do this last year, but I must this year really remember to note down the current cost of a range of staple foods from supermarkets and then check again throughout next year. Someone remind me. Do it now. But the point is that whatever damage people think Brexit did to their business this year is about to be magnified. More businesses will go under. The inevitable consequences of a harsher trading environment. Businesses cannot adapt as the government keeps insisting because the ground keeps changing too quickly and with insufficient warning. I liken it to biological adaptation. If an environment changes slowly, evolution does its thing in adapting organisms. If the environment changes massively in a very short time frame, that is what you call an extinction event. That's what Brexit is. But those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments below. Hope you found the video interesting. If you did, don't forget to click the like button. If you'd like to support the channel further, please also click the Patreon link for details. And until next time, I'll see you later.